The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Mitty.
WM.
I'm glad you chose this movie.
Yeah.
Dude, this is my first time seeing it. All right, I don't know the title.
Speaking of titles, we should probably introduce ourselves again. I think we should do this for every episode.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, let's support it.
All right.
George, why don't you do that intro, baby?
All right, guys, we're reviewing The Secret Life
George,
of
I'll
Walter
fucking tap you the fucking
Mitty.
table.
This is George.
I'm Isaac.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Alexis.
This is 4 guys.
One
film.
film. Oh, I love it when we do that.
Let's get started. Hey, this was a pick that I chose. I had never seen this movie before, but I'm
Spur
glad
of
we
the
chose
moment
it.
too.
Yeah.
I'm glad we chose it. I really enjoyed this film, so let's jump into it. I want to talk about it. No, I thought that this film jumped back and forth from like his real self to who he wants to be, and I think it was portrayed really beautifully in this film. And I'm surprised that he directed it. Fucking Ben Stiller, like it was crazy.
That's hard to do.
Thank you for stealing my fun fact, asshole.
Wow.
Well, I thought it was fucking fantastic. I didn't
It was
even know
fun.
it. I wouldn't have known unless, Alexis brought it up 10 fucking times throughout the film, but,
He directed this?
yeah.
Yeah, Isaac
No,
said it
but
one
it's
time.
pretty
And you just
fucking
kept being like, wow.
Wow.
Oh
The
my
Severance
God.
guy?
Honestly, it's crazy that how well, like, the action little portions of this was done, even though it's kind of like a film that's not really meant to be about that. But I feel like it was still...
Yeah, he kind of went out there with the whole jumping out of a building and fighting.
That first initial scene where he did that reminded me of that scene, action sequence. Was it Tom Cruise that does that in a building, or was it...
Tom Cruise does that a lot.
Yeah.
No, I know, but
He's
there's
a
a
shooter.
specific scene I can't remember, or maybe it was the Bourne franchise. There's a specific scene that it parallels
My
exactly
God.
that he does it, but it's
Well,
fun.
I don't
I'm
know.
like, holy shit, is that Jason Bourne?
but the thing is, I like that because it does really feel like you're in your, like, you could see Walter's actual like imagination.
You have
know?
the daydreaming.
Yeah, because I feel like shit. I do that all the time. I'm just thinking
Yeah.
about stupid shit that I'm like.
Yeah, and it's like, does everybody daydream crazy like that?
I do
know?
sometimes. Yeah, I could admit to that. Like sometimes I'm just like, I know my girlfriend hates it when I just like fucking randomly just stare off into the like whatever, and then I'm just like I'm thinking of stupid shit.
I remember in high school when I was in history class, I'd like daydream about something fucking blowing up, and then us having to evacuate.
Oh my God, the idea that you're like, oh, my crush, the school shooter's
she's
gonna
under
show
rubble.
up, and I'm gonna stop him, and I'm gonna kill him, and I'll be dying, and she'll come in. Yeah, all
Yeah,
those stupid
yeah.
fucking daydreams. Yeah.
Okay,
Well, he
now,
really did
that's
that though.
crazy.
But he did that in the movie, so it was like there's 3 of us that kind of have something similar.
Yeah, but I like that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, I think it's great that it showed like what he wanted to do, and then the film slowly progressed to him actually doing those things and getting out of his like little shell, and it seemed like he was a complete introvert before any of it, and
well,
then he
yeah.
took a leap of
Well,
faith.
you know what? I think this is a good segue into talking about the theme of this movie, and I think, and it was an interesting point you brought up. I've seen this movie like way more times than you guys have.
Yeah.
My first time.
It's a good movie.
Hey,
I think one of the things this movie, highlights very well is like, hey man, you're never too late to start your life again. Life happened. Like for him, he explains like his mom's like, you started working at Papa John's, and then like right after your dad died, because you had to support us and shit, and then you didn't do what you wanted to do with your life, and he found out when his mom was moving to the senior care place, like he finds all of his adventure stuff that he was gonna do before going to Europe, and then his dad died.
Personally, I found his job pretty interesting.
No,
really cool
it
job.
was a cool job,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying he stopped. Like,
yeah, he was living vicariously through the photos of
Yeah.
all these people adventuring and living out his literal like daydream, and then like it finally transitions into him like going out and doing.
And it's crazy because
Nice
like the things that he wanted to do, the guy Sean's character,
O'Connell, right?
Sean McConnell or O'Connell or whatever, like is what he imagined his life being.
Yeah.
Like traveling the world, taking pictures, getting paid for it, and being out there.
Which, in my opinion, I don't know. People think that sounds like the coolest fucking job in the world, but I kind of think it's overrated. Like, and
Whoa.
the only reason I say that is because I come from a like super hyperactive mind. So the idea of fucking waiting 3 hours for a snow leopard to peek out, I'd probably kill myself.
Oh, for like photography.
Yeah,
but
in
those
that
are just
way,
the
yeah.
little things. I mean, I feel like that's
No,
part of
yeah.
everything. But he's
Yeah.
also traveling the world, doing a bunch of shit,
amazing
meeting
stuff.
new people.
Like the playing
I mean-
soccer with a bunch of like people who are native to that country were really
to
cool.
the
Yeah, he was
Himalayas,
also
right?
on a random boat in fucking
Yeah.
Greenland with a bunch of like seamen, literally, and then going from that to like
That
the
sounds like-
Himalayas, and then also like he's flying on a fucking plane in Iceland into a erupting volcano. He's like, what the fuck? That is
Yeah,
crazy.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
But I could also see what you're saying, that it could probably be a little lonely because
Oh,
he is doing all
absolutely.
that shit, but he's also doing it by himself. So I'm sure
Yeah.
that there is some like cons to living a life
Well,
like that.
I
Like,
don't
you're
know,
probably
like-
lonely a little bit.
I would never like say that I'm just gonna dedicate my life to traveling because I find that like it's satisfying for like, a couple of weeks.
It'll lose its charm after a
It
while.
loses
Yeah.
like, dude, like at one point, do I not want to sleep in my own fucking bed? Like, do I not want to drive my own fucking car? Like, do I not want to be in my like, you know, we all have our creature comforts, and like, when you have a home, the creature comforts are home, you know. And if you're traveling all the time, dude, I can't do that. Like, I need to like.
Which is actually, that's so funny because that's what we're talking about, is the fact that Sean is someone who's able to leave all those comforts behind for the adventure, for the thrill, to chase the meaning of life in terms of the magazine, like what the magazine stood for. But here you have somebody who's the opposite, who's Walter, who is such a creature of comfort. He feels extremely good at his job. He knows exactly like his schedule, and the only way he finds an outlet is through his daydream. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
he's very like risk averse, right? Is that the term?
Yes.
Yeah, and is it because his dad died? Is that where kind of everything went wrong with him?
You know what? I think so because you gotta think about it, man. Like, he was an 18-year-old kid, like ready to start his life, and then, you know, unfortunately, his father passed away. And you know what? It's no like you no longer have that luxury of having to be like, fuck, I can go do this and I don't give a fuck about the consequences. No, now he has to deal with consequences. He has to deal with like his like the sustainability of his home, like is like.
And it seems like his dad was also one that kind of introduced him to like taking like risks. Like he's the one that like got him a mohawk. He's like getting into skateboarding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they ever explain how he died?
No, they just said he died.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got to read the book.
But I mean, and I agree with you. I think that the idea that coming out of that, he probably settled into a role of just, I need to provide. And so, and I think we've probably all been through moments of our lives where we feel like we just need to provide and like kind of take a back seat to a little bit more of the mundane actions of life. And the best way or the easiest way, not the best, but the easiest way to cope with that, just like what Walter did, was to just kind of settle down, hunker down, really hold down to whatever your security is, and just avoid like external stimulus, avoid anything that's going to kind of cause you to desire more than what you're capable of currently pursuing. So he probably really like latched onto that and forgot to let go of it once he was in a position.
And that's even his position in his job. He's like downstairs in a basement,
yeah, he's
working
probably
alone with like
happy.
one other dude,
Super happy.
just in the dark.
But you know, I don't think it's like, even if it was not a monetary thing, typically is, but I think it was just a form of responsibilities. You know, I think, at least I know, like when you get a certain like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like when you get like responsibilities thrown at you and you start taking them seriously, like I think that happens to anybody, regardless if it's like a monetary thing or like, you know, you can like not even need a job, but like let's say for some whatever reason, like you have to take care of an older grandparent or something like that,
relative,
or a relative. Like it's no longer like, oh, I could go do my fun stuff. No, there's like another person dependent on you. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, there's also certain scenes where it shows that he's not even doing that, even with all those things. Because like, there's that scene where he tells his sister, he's like, "Oh, go do this for mom, go do that for that. I'm at work, I got shit to do, blah blah blah." And it's like
But I think to some extent he still is, because like it's kind of one of those sad things too, where if you think about, like, I'm sure we've all had people in our life who like Isaac said, responsibility kind of takes over from other stuff, and so they start to kind of try to quantitatively organize what's more important. And so in his head, he probably wasn't trying to be disrespectful to his sister and say your audition for Rizzo doesn't matter, but he was like, but that's not putting food on a table.
Yeah, no,
so I need to go to work and you're going to go do that.
I get that, but what I'm saying is, like, despite that, the mom, what truly seemed like it would have made her happy is that he goes out and lives his dreams.
Of
like,
course.
I mean, there's certain scenes where he's like, "Oh, we gotta get mom a bigger apartment. We gotta, you know, so she's able to fit her piano, all these different things." And the mom's like, "I don't care about the fucking piano. It's like, it's not important. Like, I want you to be okay." And it's like, you need to live your own fucking life.
And the mom is literally storing all these like things, knickknacks that he's gotten that could allow him to, or they kind of symbolize his opportunity to do something.
But I think it's like,
and it's all in a box.
No, I'm saying he could do both. He could just as easily like live his dreams, like he's daydreaming every day, and then also still care for his mom and make sure that there's food on the table. Make sure,
I
obviously with balance of both, but not like
I don't know, George. I don't think that like, yeah, there's balance, but I think when you got like two people, like
he's working at this job for 16 years, doing this mundane thing, not even dating, not doing anything. It's not like he can't find some wiggle room to do a little bit of both. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying drop his fucking job and go.
No, obviously, but like I think Walter has got to a place where responsibilities have just are just his main priority.
This isn't like unique. I think there's just so many people out there who have let responsibilities anchor them in their own lives, and they just aren't able to go out there and do something creative or do something that they personally would want to do. And I feel like I'm included in that.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Me too. Like I wish I could do other stuff, but responsibilities
exactly they
come first. And
I think especially in today's day and age, like this movie was really good. Like I wanted to kind of get to a point where we could talk about like just the visuals of the movie and stuff like that. Just because obviously really amazing settings, really pretty cool places that they chose to kind of feature. We had a full-on conversation about like Iceland and Greenland and how beautiful those settings are, and how honestly they're, in my opinion, they're just not showcased enough in film. But besides that, like the idea that he was able to do what he was, I'm glad it was a 42-year-old man who did this. Like, and the reason why I say this is because like I feel like there are too many movies that like to feature really young people, and like I'll consider us really young, even though we're in our late 20s, but it's like not realistic nowadays. I feel to think like I'm gonna stop working for a week or get laid off and now travel to multiple major countries.
I like that they also did address it though. He's like, oh yeah, like my fucking checking is overdrawn.
He was writing his checkbook. It's like, dude, this is like thousands of dollars.
Yeah, well, I mean, and also the idea that at least he literally said, he's like, yeah, good thing about trying to go to war-torn Yemen is that it's only $84.
Yeah.
So he's like, it wasn't the worst thing in the world.
I thought it was Afghanistan.
But it makes it realistic where it's like
okay.
even a middle-aged man that's been working for 16 years probably has savings. He's still like, holy shit, this is expensive, but it's like you manage. If you really want to, you can make it happen, make it work.
Yeah, absolutely.
What year was the setting?
And I think that, just getting back into the story of the actual thing, like the idea and the message that as he stopped pretending to live his life and started living it, he was no longer actually like daydreaming as much. It was interesting though,
because he was living his life. It wasn't like, it wasn't like he had to create a figment of what
exactly. He didn't have to pretend anymore. Like what tripped me out, I think the scene where he jumps off the helicopter, like, and he starts fighting sharks and stuff like that. I was immediately expecting the flashback. Like that was the transition right before he had his moment with Cheryl, where he was watching her sing karaoke. Then he gets in the helicopter. And then after that, I don't know if we had another flashback. I think that might have been the last one in the movie.
Yeah, that was the last one.
And so I was expecting the next one, and he starts fighting a shark. And they're like, no, this is real. And you're like, what the fuck?
He actually did this.
And then it's like, it goes on to the fucking volcano. I'm like, okay, this is the flashback. And it's like, no, again, real. And it just keeps happening.
And didn't the eHarmony guy call him? And then
he kept calling him.
Like, legit, like, this happened, bro. Like, put that on my profile.
Bro, the Rizzler.
No, you know what's also a little detail that I noticed? His job, it transitions completely opposite of what he was, because before it started off as Life magazine, like go out and live and do things in the world, and then it becomes Life online, and it goes everything against like what he's trying to become. So it's like the workforce is like transitioning into something completely different while he's transitioning out of it. So that was kind of interesting that happened too. But I mean, it's great. It's great because literally, I mean, he's no longer daydreaming, like you said. Those flashback sequences, they become a reality, and it's good. I appreciate it for what it is.
It was a very feel-good movie compared to all the other stuff that we've been watching.
What? Yeah, I think if you're a 42-year-old man in the same position, I don't feel like you'd feel good watching this movie.
Yeah, I feel like you'd be like, fuck, I hate
myself.
Well, at least for us, it still feels like there's a chance.
Yeah, no, and I mean,
speak for yourself.
Well, I also think the idea that like
you don't think there's a chance,
this movie did a lot of good things though for kind of perpetuating that idea though that you got to take care of yourself and you got to live your life and find ways to do it, even if it means starting a podcast with 3 of your buddies and just doing it for fun.
Something crazy like that.
Something crazy, But I do love that message. I do think there's a couple silly things that any movie and every movie could have, but that they're not overshadowed, or it doesn't overshadow the rest of the film, which is really good.
Do you think this is a midlife crisis film?
No, I think it's
or is it like a coming of age story, but in like your later years?
I feel like any age group can actually relate to this.
I feel like you could classify it in a million different ways.
I mean, I feel like we
same
relate to
message.
it, and we're like
Yeah.
in our late 20s. So I mean, we're
Except
barely
Isaac.
starting our life almost.
Isaac's mid 40s.
And then I also feel like teenagers could resort to this because it's like, let's say you're getting right out of high school and you're still kind of like, I don't know what the fuck to do with my life. Like, I had a fucking crisis. I legit moved across the fucking state and like traveled for a bit.
That's because you're an asshole, though.
He didn't talk to us for a year.
I know.
Because I was in Georgia, all right?
Yeah,
Georgia.
I went to high school with you and you abandoned me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You abandoned Nick.
I'm
Out
sorry.
of all of us, you abandoned
Yeah,
Nick.
I'm the
Yeah.
most sorry to you, Nick.
I
I'm
know.
sorry.
I don't think it's
Sorry
a
I did
coming
that
of
to you,
age. I
but-
think it's more of a movie that where you know, regardless of whatever happens in your life, always try to achieve that dream, or always
Yeah.
it always try to do the, you know, like what's best for you, because you know, we go back to Walter. You know, he dedicated his life to his family, and you know that's important and everything. But you know, when he finally did something for himself, it was the most like freeing thing for him.
He stopped daydreaming.
Yeah, again, it's just the idea of don't let things get in the way and life pass you by.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is, find a way to make it work. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be right away, but get your things in order so that you can live your life.
Eventually do it, man, because
Yeah.
like when you actually do it, even if you don't like it or whatever, it's still going to be a learning moment. It's still going to be something that you can go back and laugh, you know.
And like I think it is a breath of fresh air to see something like that for all of us. I think most of us in this room, with probably the exception of you, Isaac, being a successful business owner, feel to some extent like we're obviously not at our end goals. It's a stepping stone on a path that we want to take, but at the end of the day, it's that mentality that it's like feeling kind of comfort in saying like, oh, this is a man who in his 40s was able to take the leap that he needed to, and if I don't feel able to do that now, that's fine, as long as I know that in myself you see that confidence to start taking those leaps and to push yourself on that path. And so that's really good.
You know what? Why not start now, man? Let's just quit our fucking jobs right now.
Hey, bro.
Let's go to Afghanistan.
And this segment right
Join
here is sponsored by
ISIS.
Nike.
just
Just
gotta
do it.
Just
Just
do
do
it.
it, baby.
Hey,
Also, McDonald's.
I
I'm
can't
loving
wait for that part to not get caught. Only Isaac heard
No.
me say that.
What's the logo for life, guys?
it.
I'm loving it.
I'm loving
I'm
it.
loving it, bro.
Hey, you know what? I think one of the things that I've learned, I know I'm not we're all the same age, but I think I've had a little bit more life experiences than you guys to a certain
The
extent.
fuck
Hey,
is that
what
supposed
the
to
fuck?
mean?
George, the worst.
We've
thing
all had different life
Different life
experiences.
experiences.
Not
I think I've had.
more or less,
I think
just-
I've had more.
Bullshit.
I've been-
Bullshit. You were born here
I
in
don't
America,
know,
bro.
Okay, we lived in the same place, asshole.
No. I've traveled more than you.
We traveled about the same.
No, it's not true.
Alexis and I traveled more than you when we were
Yeah, when we were babies.
bro.
Nick
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it doesn't
I
count
traveled
below.
miles to get
like-
here.
Like if you can't fucking clearly recollect what
There's
happened.
I
photographs.
crossed the Rio Grande on a donkey. Bro.
I used to go back every year at least.
Yeah.
I recollect plenty.
But go on, make your point.
All right, making my point. The things that I've done, I think one of the things that I've learned is I think something is don't be afraid to fail. It's super important. Like me and Aiden, and I say my brother because he kind of pushes me sometimes to just like fucking do it. Who gives a fuck? If you can afford,
Quit being a bitch and come on.
no. I think if you can afford to make the mistake, why not make it? Well, the worst thing that can happen is you could afford to do it anyways, and why not? You're gonna learn something out of it. If it works
absolutely.
out, it works out, and if it fails, like, well, you know what? Fuck it. We gave it our all, and we can just fucking pay somebody else to do it.
So we should quit
I
my
mean,
job.
yeah, and absolutely. I mean, as much as I want to say yes to that, I mean, the idea of calculated risk is super important with that, and I think that people forget to do that. Like, I think people either risk it all and lose it all, or they're too afraid of any risk. And it's like you said, the idea like you're in a position like Walter where yes, he was overdrafting his cards and stuff like that, and he
Well,
was running into
even
risk.
before that, he did the calculator risk. I'm like, okay, I have to find the 25th picture. Where the fuck is this dude? I'm doing this for work. And in that process of doing it for work, he found himself to be freer. And he could, when he came back without it, he's like, well, you know what? Fuck this douchebag that has a weird beard. You know,
It was weird.
I think also the moral ends up being is like he started doing it for somebody else, and then he realized
He ended up
fuck
doing it for himself.
it's for me. That's all I need.
yeah.
He didn't even want to see the fucking
Yeah,
picture. Like it
yeah.
turns out he's like, you know what? It's not important. It's the
It's
lesson I
not
learned
I
along
kind
the
of wish
way.
it was never shown to us.
Really?
I think if the photograph was just something in our mind,
I feel like
it
more
would've
people
been
would have been
better.
pissed about it than
No,
that.
no, no.
Yeah.
To be
I think
honest.
I like that they kind of teeter-tottered back and forth, but like didn't really show us until the end,
Until the
and then
very,
it was
very
like a
end.
good payoff because it's like he didn't even want to see it, but the fact that it was about him kind of made it nice.
Yeah, the
I
mystery to continue would have been nice. In
Yeah.
my opinion.
No,
in my
I
opinion.
like that they kept it from us a little bit, but then actually showed it at the end, and then it was actually something important.
It made it, it follows a good story,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there's a resolution. We saw the resolution. We saw Walter's character evolve and figure out what he is for himself and what he needs to do for himself. He got the girl.
For some reason, I thought that Sean like set him up to make him get out of his shell and go like do all that crazy shit.
Nah,
Like, that's what I thought, but it was just really his own journey.
Sean's just kind of like a fucking crazy sporadic.
Yeah.
He's like, why the fuck would you put that in the wallet? He's like, that ruins the negative, and he's like, you're
I
right.
thought
It's
it was.
Well,
gonna be
that's
cute.
such a
He's
fun.
He's like, I thought it was a joke, man.
It was
Fuck.
adorable.
He's like, you're.
He
I
was
just
very
fooling
adorable
around.
with his response. He's like, "Well, that hurts my feelings."
Yeah.
Like, that's
Well,
what he's
no.
like. That's gonna
Okay,
hurt
but this
my
is what
feelings.
Walter was kind of a dick that was like, if you got the wallet, let's look what's in, maybe I put my shit in there, you would have found it.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
didn't even fucking
You
bother
look-
to
you
use
Look
the
through
wallet.
it. Yeah, that's why that was my one of the indications where I saw that Walter's kind of a dumbass.
Walter, it was just from his lack of experience in the world. Like it's like.
Which
You
is
think it
funny
would
because
be-
he's the guy looking at everybody's view of the world.
Well, I think that's the
through
thing, right? I mean, because
photographs.
this is what
Yeah.
I was going to correlate to. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't daydream as much as I used to. And I think a bit, and like I hate to get into this fucking like what's wrong with today's age and generation, but it is genuinely, I think, where social media just fucking ruins that for us. Because where I used to spend 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, however long your daydream is, thinking about something in life, now it's I'm going to take those 10, 15 minutes and go on some form of social media and look at somebody else do the things that I would like to do myself.
Man, I'm completely the opposite, man. For me, I daydream while I people watch, and I people watch a lot. I will
That's
be
fucking
in.
creepy.
bud.
creep,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I don't know, dude, because I'm like taller than fucking everybody else, so like I see everything.
That's not an excuse.
Like, do you ever just like in a room and just start scanning? Like,
Yeah.
you just never know what like stupid shit might like for me.
But
I'm
that's-
Well, like on the trains.
No,
that,
yeah, I
you
get
know,
But that
Yeah.
depends.
just
I mean,
watch.
like, I agree with you on the sense of like if I'm doing nothing. But I'm saying like, for example, I mean,
No,
you own your own business, so
Yeah.
maybe this is different for you. But I don't know about how you feel. But like, if I'm at work, I'm not people watching. There's
yeah.
fucking 10 people next to me, and there's the same fucking 10 people that have been there the last 2 years.
Like, I'm gonna check my phone.
Right. I'm gonna check my fucking phone. I'm gonna ignore the people that I
you
work
guys can
with.
text me more, but whatever.
But
You're at work. I,
mean,
don't want to bother.
I don't want to bother you. You're too busy. You're an important man.
always say
I'll
that.
always reply the fuck
You're
he
too
is.
busy watching other
Man,
people.
George Nerf. Reply.
But it's one of those things where like I don't know. I just feel like if I have 10 minutes, like I'm, it's like you almost want to get even more lost in the sauce than like just a
Yeah.
daydream. And so you just want to find yourself in an even more remote place, looking at somebody else do something that you, even if it's something stupid, like sometimes it's like, oh, later tonight I have to set up this dash cam, so I'm
Yeah.
going to start looking at videos of that.
And all of a
it's-
sudden you're doom scrolling.
Exactly, and then you start doom scrolling.
No, dude,
Yeah, doom scroll's like-
I can't. Dude, I don't know. It's one of
I
those
call
things.
bullshit gator because you can't stand 5 minutes
I know,
with
you-
us in the
you're always
room
sending me
and you're
TikToks,
jumping
too.
on your fucking PC playing.
Dude, that's true.
I'm hyper.
Fuck yeah.
I'm dude, but the thing is, my mind is like hyperactive.
No,
Like-
Isaac's special. His mind is split.
No,
5 ways.
dude, tell no. This is
You know what? I want to interrupt you for
No,
a
no,
second. This
okay.
is actually fucking crazy because I was thinking about this. This man right here, Isaac, is able to play video games and somehow comprehend and remember details of the movie. I can't really give you too much credit on this one because you've mentioned
you
you've watched
saw
it
like
3
5
times.
times.
But Cure was fucking shocking to me. How much he was like George is straight up hard
He's
R.
lost.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Shit, we're losing him.
the-
We're losing him.
the fact that like George was
Clear.
fucking focused on this film and he was like, "Huh? Why is it?" And Isaac is giving all the explanations while not even watching it.
Yeah.
Like
No.
it was nuts.
He's
No.
like listening to Japanese.
no, dude. No, okay. So
First of all, I'm gonna see the gameplay though. How bad was he doing on the game? While he was
No,
playing?
He said he was
If he
killing
was
it.
doing amazing, then I'll be like, all right, that's pretty fucking.
no.
tough, but-
Okay, so I think one of the things that I've always like I can't like if I find something boring, and for me to subsidize like be able to pay attention to me, I need something else.
So you found the film boring.
See, but I overcommit. I agree with you 100%.
No,
I try
I-
that.
no.
But even if it's music, I'll start like just humming, listening, singing along, and then I just completely ignored.
Dude, I don't know. I it's one of those weird
All
things.
right, so back to the movie.
Oh yeah, what are we talking about?
No, one thing that I really enjoyed
Getting
too
lost in
was
the sauce, yeah.
I really liked the soundtrack in this. I felt like it was like
like the
it was-
songs. Yeah,
it was a
like,
good soundtrack.
I
It was
kind
a
of
good
was like,
soundtrack.
at first I was like, it's a little cheesy because it's like super.
we had some
upbeat,
David
just-
Bowie. Yeah.
Bowie was great.
I
Yeah,
also,
no,
I
Bowie
mean,
was-
going with that too, the visuals. Like,
We had some Arcade
there was
Fire.
a lot of color.
no, Arcade Fire was fucking great.
And the
like,
visuals were
like
great.
I thought the color was really good. I liked even just the color with him. Like, I felt like we talked about him getting tan, but I also felt like he looked brighter, like almost like
He was orange as hell. By the end of it.
Exactly.
You think
Like-
that was something they were playing with the colors
I
to kind of
think
depict
so.
Yeah, and a little bit
his
of-
glow
but-
up, literally?
I think one of the most impressive things about this movie was the overall cinematography. Like the overhanging shots of him in Iceland, or where he's on the longboard.
Oh yeah, he's on the longboard
Like-
just cruising.
Like,
jamming
and the thing
out.
is, like, he's directing
great.
this. So, like, how is he like capturing these moments of him? Like, well, he's not even on the-
storyboard for sure. It's got to be. He's like, this is exactly the shot I want you to do. I'm gonna draw it out for you, do it hand by hand, and then he's like, follow me through the fucking canyons and make it happen. How else would you do it? I mean,
You didn't even finish my thought, bitch. Okay.
he's like, I'm gonna tell you, don't fucking ask the question.
I know. God damn it.
Well, he's not behind the camera, so he's got to fucking show him
Hey,
something.
you don't know that. He probably has a little GoPro.
No, yeah. I mean, who knows?
But dude, but it was, and for him, like, actually doing it, producing and acting, it was a good movie.
I really like the quote that Sean said when they were in the Himalayas,
Looking at the
looking
snow leopard,
at snow leopard,
the ghost cat.
the ghost cat, the elusive snow cat. What was it? Okay, so he says, "Beautiful things don't ask for attention."
Yeah.
Love that. And then after that is, and then Walter says, "When are you gonna take it?" And then he says, "Sometimes I don't. If I like a moment, for me personally, I don't like to have the distraction of the camera. I just want to stay in it."
Dude, and you know what?
That's my favorite
beautiful.
part of the movie.
That's
Dude,
fucking
I really agree with that, because again, I'm a people watcher, or I'll watch.
He's a creep.
No, call me a creep, whatever, dude. But like,
I think
Don't get defensive, bro.
I agree with that.
I mean, he
but
just says he likes watching people like
Yeah.
3 times on the
Yeah.
spot. I mean,
no, but
You are what you are.
it's like I'll see some of the I feel like some of the most funny things that I've ever seen have not even been in like my general vicinity. Or like I'll just see like I've seen random people trip while like I was dude like I was
That's what he
broke his
means by
arm.
people watching.
no
he's like this is beautiful.
This
beautiful.
is good.
no I was in
I
Japan.
just like to live in it.
When I was in Japan, and like the second day that I was in Tokyo, we were eating 7-Eleven food at like 6:00 in the morning, and this guy was going to work, and he just face fucking plants,
Oh,
dude. He's on his bike, and
no.
he's like he gets on he starts doom scrolling probably, and he hits a pole, dude, and then. Like the kid was like right next to him as he was like falling down, and he was just still waiting for the light to turn on, and he's like, my fucking back,
Fuck,
what the
dude.
fuck? And then this kid, I just see this kid just look at him like, you fucking like even like you fucking
So
tard,
you
dude.
fucked
And
up, bro.
dude, and
You
that was
fucked
like, and if I wasn't like out there just like scouring and just looking, I would have never caught that moment. And it's just like stuff like that I've seen.
That's true. Or actually, that reminds me of when I was on the train and I saw like these two lovers to say goodbye. And then as like the train went away, the guy like ran towards the girl, like chasing the train.
Yeah,
And obviously he couldn't keep up, right? And
it's
then,
a fucking
and,
bullet
like,
train.
And
I
then once
would've
we
done.
hit the tunnel,
Yeah.
like I could see the girl like crying, and then she was just like looking at her reflection, like as
Yeah.
she's crying.
That's some.
dude,
was,
and
was it filming a fucking movie?
no, but
But
like,
it's like, yeah, this is
dude,
like-
but life is a movie, buddy.
yeah.
Yeah, no, those are
And if
those
you-
are stories that
If you
gotta
honestly
see.
like,
If you don't look around, you're gonna miss it.
exactly, dude.
I think, in my opinion, that's a great way to put like the idea of like put your phones away for a second and like enjoy life,
live in the moment.
live in the moment. But it is one of those things where, as someone who I frequently look through my camera roll and notice when I wanted to see like a moment, I didn't capture it. And there's times where like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like, especially nowadays with the amount of consumption that we have in our day-to-day lives of just media and screens, like you forget some of the experiences you had. Like I've had multiple times I'm like, oh my fucking God, I did do that. Like,
Yeah.
Like
See,
with
but is
big
it-
events, maybe
I know,
not.
but isn't that sweet though? Like when you don't have to
100%.
like you start reminiscing about those, like, instead of looking at your phone and like seeing the exact moment, but you reminisce on your own thought, your own memory and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
so
Yo,
I agree
I
with what
like-
Nick is saying, because it's like, all right, sometimes the only time that even comes back, it's like, all right, let's say you're having an interaction with your friends, whatever, and then they bring up a moment like that, and you're like, oh shit, that's right, and then you have like that kind of flashback in your head. But pictures do the same things a lot of times. Like,
And
you
I
have
think
a picture,
it's a
and then
balance.
you
So
have that.
let me revert this back to the movie, but that's why Walter maybe
No,
wasn't happy,
All right,
dude.
so that's a very
because
specific situation, though. Because it's
hold,
like,
hold on, because at that point you're reliving your own memories through a perfect version of it.
That's where
Instead
you're wrong, though. Because
Tell me.
Because Walter wasn't reliving his old memories through photos. He was trying to live vicariously.
But
through somebody
isn't that
else.
what you're doing when you're doom scrolling?
Completely correct. When I'm doom scrolling, yes. But what I'm saying is, we have to, like, so when you go to a concert, when you go to Japan, when you go to these really cool places, you have to stop and observe. You have to do what you guys both talked about doing.
Become
in
a
Japan,
baby.
and literally just observe the environment. And those are the actually fond memories that you'll always remember.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the story you told me about, or you just said it right now, about the woman on the train, and it sounds like a beautiful story, and it's something you'll probably remember going forward.
We'll never forget.
But if you forget to also just take a quick snapshot of the little things too, that will leave your memory sooner. Because now the idea of, like, for example, if you took a snapshot at the 7-Eleven, and just a quick one, enough time to pull your phone out and be like, let's take a selfie with my girlfriend, and then put it back out, and then observe more, that'll help spark that memory. That'll help keep it close to your heart. But the idea that you take a picture and then go to your phone and just do some other stupid shit, like in this case, what Walter's just doing is completely focusing on other people's work, like doing a great job of being like his role, with processing negatives, but not actually living his life and creating his own negatives to process, his own memories to recall. That's where I feel like there's got to be a balance of still recording your life.
And yet you didn't come to Japan with us.
I mean, Gator, you literally did it like 5 minutes ago. You showed us a picture of you cradling Alexis like a baby.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, that's such a beautiful moment because now it's a
and
memory for me.
And I actually kind of forgot about that moment.
It's a memory for me now because I'm like, I never would have seen that
but
or known about that
but do you see,
unless you showed me it.
We got to do a slideshow for that.
Yeah.
I have a buddy who...
Fuck your buddy, okay? I'm your only friend.
Funny enough, his name's also Isaac.
Wow.
Wow, you're trying to replace me now. Okay, that's fucking crazy.
Wait, is he Isaac 1 or Isaac 2?
You'll never know. But anyway, this is the guy who I was telling you who went to Iceland. He actually went to Iceland.
Fuck that. If he hears it, first of all, he
Does
should
he know
listen
about
to
this
the podcast.
podcast? You should listen to this.
He knows.
No, he doesn't.
All right, but he was in Iceland.
He was
But anyway, he was in Iceland for his honeymoon, and he's been twice now with his wife, and we went over. My brother and I went over. I think it was 2-3 years ago for Thanksgiving, and he showed us his slideshows. And as much as I agree with you of like living in that beauty, like in the moment, it was something that was really nice that he was like talking about Iceland. And like, I hate to say it, but you kind of go like, oh yeah, whatever, like if Walter starts coming up to you right now and tells you like, oh dude, like I did all this amazing shit. Like I did this and this and this. It's like in the description of it, you're going to try to be respectful and you're going to be like, okay. But at the same time, you're not going to be like genuinely in the moment with him. But when you have a snapshot that follows it, like that's why Sean O'Connell's work is so fucking important. Like this movie isn't trying to overshadow that a photographer is necessary and what the importance of that is. In fact, the whole mission of the movie is to find the fucking photo, right? That is like the mission, the theme may be something else, but that's why it's so important to capture these moments. And with my buddy and him showing me all the different spots in Iceland that he went to and how captivating it was when he was able to stop and give me a story about how they almost fell off a fucking like the rock and drifted into the ocean because that's how bad the snow was, and then show me in the next picture how much snow there was. Like it adds so much detail to like what you visualize and what you see when you're hearing a story like that. And that's where it's like, right now, I'm going to be honest, boys, you guys haven't shared a whole lot of pictures from Japan just yet.
Can I tell you something to add to my thing?
I will, though.
You will. I know
I'm
you
still
will.
developing.
You're still
photos.
developing.
Wait,
But-
you didn't even listen to this whole fucking...
I know, he's
How you
like,
gonna
I'm
come
gonna-
back
he's
and
like,
tell
I'm
us
gonna-
something?
No, but like, first of all, the viewers don't know that, George. Stop fucking revealing shit.
I'll edit it.
But I know that.
Okay. No, I think one of the things for me, I think I'm also very selfish with my memories. It's one of those things where I know I'm not good with words at times. I can definitely just be very blunt or like just be weird. Words do not come out of my mouth sometimes.
You're just frank.
Yeah, basically. And for me, I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like I need to tell somebody else my memories. And Adrian was telling me this the other day, like that's my brother, and he was like, dude, Isaac, you sound like Japan sounds like it. I wouldn't like it. But I'm like, that's maybe because I'm not doing a good enough job of explaining it. And they're not for you anyways. I'm just trying to have a conversation with you. But again, at the same time, like those memories are precious to me. I'll always remember them, and I want to go back.
That's really beautiful, actually.
Yeah.
And the point about the photos is I also agree with you that it's nice to be able to capture moments, but then at some point, you know, I kind of worry that if I take so many photos of things, I won't really remember the memories. I'll just remember the photo, and I'm afraid that that's gonna replace
I
what
think,
actually
You know what?
happened.
I kind of want to bring, because you did spend a lot of time taking photos,
but
and I'm like, dude, you could have like seen so much more, and like
potentially, yeah.
and
I disagree with that because I was using my film like camera.
Yeah.
And when it's using that, it's not like your phone where you just capture boom, right? Like I actually have to kind of like focus and like choose like what.
See, that's what's
moment
interesting.
I'm
Though, is I was
getting.
actually going to say a little bit of the opposite. Where the phone, the good thing of it kind of doing all of the work for you very quickly and focusing and taking 10 pictures at once, kind of deal, and like chick, is that if you can get good enough pictures, you know, like not try to be photographer of the year or anything like that, but
and you can easily do that on Photoshop.
exactly,
it's like
you
two
could
buttons.
technically too. But if
Yeah.
you could get those pictures to be roughly what you want them to be, fast enough that you can then come back to the actual meaning of the moment. Like look at what Sean's doing, right? Like he's looking through the lens in the mountains for a snow leopard, and as he's observing, right? He has the camera. He's not fiddling with the camera. He's
already had it. He's already had that shit dialed
exactly.
in.
He's just watching. He's in the moment then, and then he continue. And then sometimes when the moment's breathtaking enough, he doesn't take the picture because he wants to stay in that moment. But the actual time he set up the camera and got his equipment ready is much less than the time he spent capturing that in his mind and in his eyes. And if the moment is right with the picture. So in my opinion, like if I'm in a place like Japan, or in my case, like when I went to New Orleans during my trip,
Fucking slut.
yes.
Yes.
But
slut, yes.
it was about grabbing a quick photo of the things that I thought looked really cool in an angle that I thought would work. And I'm not necessarily submitting them for a fucking, you know, review or some art show or something.
And you know what was crazy about, like, when I don't know if you guys, when Walter was going through all the negatives, right? And it was all of Sean doing just like stupid shit. Like one of them was water. One of them was the pilot's
thumb.
The dude's thumb. You know, I think, you know, as a regular person, I think it's a little bit more captivating. Because like, oh shit, I remember that dude's thumb. He was a drunk pilot that dropped me off on the fucking boat, instead of just like taking a picture of the pilot. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's what's cool about photographers is that they all have their own kind of like perspective, and some people maybe are more focused on like textures versus like actual like subject. You know. And,
yeah.
And you know, textures and whatever abstract thing that you take a picture of, it can like bring emotions or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm like, oh, that's a cool looking photo of a thumb.
No,
You know what won the National Geographic funny picture of the year this
What?
year? It's a kangaroo playing air guitar.
Really?
It's amazing. The kangaroo's going like this and everything. It's fucking funny. I'll show it to you guys in a bit.
So yeah, I want to see that shit.
No, but yeah, I think also one thing that's captivating about that scene is the fact that like Sean, he has the photo. This is like what he came to the Himalayas for, quote unquote. But then he decides not to take it because that's not his job. His job is not like to be a photographer, and you know, I mean, that's not what he does it for. Is what I mean. That is his job, but it's not what he does it for. He does it for these experiences, for himself. And then yeah, it just so happens that sometimes he gets these beautiful shots that he can share, and that people can live vicariously through, like Walter Mitty. Literally,
Exactly. He's a
Walter
big
is
believer.
literally living through Sean's eyes
Yeah.
and living all his experiences, whether it's him in an office daydreaming about it, but at least it's like he's giving a piece of that to those people. When
Right.
Sean does it, because it's like, no, this
Yeah.
is all for me.
Yeah.
Like, fuck the photos. The photos are just part of how
Well,
I
at
get
that
paid.
point,
But
it's with Walter, so it's with us.
yeah,
But I think
so I
it's-
really thought that was captivating. I really liked that. But
Yeah.
It's that idea that Sean respects Walter a lot because he feels like both of them are two of the few people that at least he interfaces with that truly believe in the message that the company brings.
yeah, I really like that
And
too.
so-
that they had that relationship.
And I think that he's selfish too, like you were talking about, in a really nice way, saying like, I believe in this message for me first, and then whenever I get the chance to share this message with the world through a photo that I'm gonna take that doesn't compromise that for me, that's when I'm gonna take that shot. And I think, like you said, in that moment, that snow leopard, he knew like taking this picture would compromise that meaning for me. And
Yeah,
so I'm not
that's why
going to do
it's
it.
funny how like the photo, the 25, fucking negative photo, whatever, it becomes a throwaway joke. Because it's like Sean doesn't care about it. He's like, it's not important. He was like, I was just fooling around. It was like, it was important to me because I was trying to like give you something, a gift that you gave to me, the ability to share these photos with the world. And you're the one that did that. That's why it's a photo of you. But it's like, for him, it's just like, regardless, it's not about the photo. It's about all of this. And
that's why I think the movie, if that scene didn't exist, I don't think the movie would work as well as it did. Because that scene, it
was very important.
It's crucial. Like that's basically the theme of the movie. Like just take it in, man.
Yeah,
like,
just enjoy it.
Just live the life.
Look around. Yeah, and then he literally just like run off. He's like, I'm gonna go play with those kids over there. He's like, if you want to join me, join me. If not, whatever.
Something we didn't really talk about too is like the extreme kind of aspects of those daydreams. I mean, we mentioned how as kids or in school we would have our own version of daydreams of like crazy things happening at school or stuff like that. But thinking about how a lot of his dreams involved like violence, especially with his new boss, and every time he'd snap out of it, the boss did some things that were slightly questionable, but like at any point was I like, oh, this is an aggressive, like bad, terrible person who's gonna beat you. Like, no, he was a dick. And, like, I think that was a perfect word to use for him. But it's still enough where it's, like, HR wouldn't necessarily immediately fire a guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what's funny to me is this idea that, like, we always take it such a step. In our imaginations, it takes it to a completely new level, a completely new height.
Yeah,
and
way
it's
too
like,
high sometimes.
And it's
everything
like,
is amplified.
Like,
times
this
10.
whole fucking elevator fight scene and then stretching out the Stretch Armstrong and coming together to punch each other. And he's just like, hey, Are you good?
Like,
That's
funny. It actually kind of ties back to Cure, how they're all living their kind of truth, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's not what they would actually do, but it's like what they're actually feeling and kind of want to do. But
Yeah.
Those like strange
it
desires.
pushes it to those extremes. But
completely.
Nice callback.
I like that. I like that you're
Cure is our episode 12 on our podcast. If you want to check that out.
Check it out.
watch Cure
Soft
too
plug.
if you haven't seen it. It's a trip. Watch it at least twice.
Yeah. More downloads are better for us.
Yeah.
All right. Alexis, do you have any Letterboxd?
I sure do, actually, from people that follow us. These are our so-called friends on Letterboxd.
Oh, nice. All right.
Let's get started on these. Okay. This first one. Oh, nice. These are short. This is by Caitlin with the emoji of a dove. Ben Stiller on that longboard? 3 question marks. Absolutely epic. 3.5 stars. It doesn't say much, but Ben Stiller's stunt double, who I think was Tony Hawk, was pretty good on that.
Was it?
that
Wait, was
longboard.
Are
it
you
actually?
speculating?
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I was like,
I don't
what
know
the
who it
fuck?
was.
I'm like, he doesn't long.
I will say the scene of there's a couple scenes that piss me off. I kind of want to spend some time
did he
afterwards saying
actually do
stupid
it,
scenes
though?
in this movie because there were a couple.
Did he actually do that though?
I don't
or
think
was
so.
It, I mean,
That had to
it
be a
wouldn't
double.
be that hard, would it?
I
No,
can
'cause
imagine
he wasn't on an extreme grade.
Yeah, it wasn't like
Maybe
such
a little bit
steep
of it.
slope that it's like he couldn't have done at least some of the.
Well,
scenes.
because I think going on a longboard past 20 miles an hour is starting to get sketchy.
No, it's
Yeah.
sketchy for sure. You get speed wobbles at like 10, 15 for sure. Like,
No, not on a longboard.
Depends on the
I
night.
mean, it depends.
I had
how,
a really good longboard. I used to
Gatorades loose, so
Yeah, what if you got rocks on your hands, bro?
that's
no. I mean, I actually really
Depends
like
on
that
the tie
scene. That
you
was
got.
kind of
You gotta
hilarious.
have a good time.
Yeah, it depends on the time.
I'm like, how would he know to do this? He never even had a longboard.
I know it's been like 20 years since you rode a skateboard or something.
Oh, that's right. I mean, he did skateboard, but longboard,
Yeah.
different story.
But yeah,
Well, only 3 stars. Wow.
3.5
That's-
stars.
3.5 stars.
3.5 stars. All right, Kenny the movie guy. This guy gave it 4.5 star. It's kind of a long one.
Hey,
So I'm gonna
I like
shorten
him
it down.
already. 4.5 stars.
Yeah.
Solid.
Give it to me, baby.
He says, I went into this movie completely blind and came out of it positively blown away by how surprisingly incredible it was. Movie's inspiring. Music and cinematography is incredible. Ben Stiller's great. Skipping to the end, this movie is funny, charming, endearing, uplifting, and inspiring, and this movie is an underrated gem that I highly recommend. This guy really liked it.
I have to agree with Ken. I fucking loved it. Like, I had not too many expectations besides just seeing a few snippets online. And then that's one of the reasons why I was kind of like, hey, let's watch this. I've seen parts of it. Looks intriguing enough. And I was blown away. I
Yeah.
loved it. I agree
Yeah.
with Kenny on this.
It was a good one.
Solid.
All right, now we're going to go on the opposite end of this. Okay, and this is by a dude called Watching a Movie. And he's a patron on Letterboxd, so he pays the good money.
Oh wow.
2.5 stars. 2.5 stars. Ben Stiller pulled a Kevin Costner and cast himself as a lead in a sentimental attempt to tug at your heartstrings. For the most part, that attempt falls flat. This guy's gimmick is that he daydreams. That's it. The film's overall tone is a bit strange. It's irreverent and quirky and supposedly uplifting, but there's also a strange sense of sadness that clouds the movie.
This guy's
especially
an
in
asshole,
the first
huh?
half. Dude, there's more. And then one of the biggest detriments of this film is how it makes the product placement of Michael Bay movies look subtle.
Wait, I have a question. Does this tell an age?
No, I don't know.
Because I know sometimes people say their age.
I mean, this guy's writing pretty well, so I'm assuming he has a college education.
It sounds like he's a
least.
dick, and like he still hasn't
No, he just took his time on it.
Yeah.
No, like, I mean,
He used
I
Grammarly,
think he's
okay?
wrong because it's like you got to put yourself in his shoes. Not everyone has had an experience where they're going through a crisis in life, especially if this guy's young and he hasn't experienced, the sadness that you get at a certain age or even just at a certain stage in your life.
Well,
I feel like that makes this film really relatable. I'm not saying, it's going to be for everyone or everyone's been to that point, but it's definitely, something that is uplifting and is portraying something where it's like you can't have that sadness and darkness and then eventually get out of it and become better. And I feel like this film portrayed it really well. So I completely disagree.
I don't even think that this guy has like a nice 40-hour or like even a salary job to understand. Like, hey man,
why you gotta
No,
go after these people? Like,
Why you gotta
know
go
them?
straight for the jugular?
No.
You call our last person
No.
a name.
Fight whatever the fuck he said,
yeah.
not his.
No.
his fucking-
Can you let me fucking finish, guys?
We just don't like where this is
Okay, no, because it's like, okay, when you start having like a schedule that you're gonna have Monday through Friday every day, and your life starts getting into a mundaneness of like, I gotta go to work every day, I gotta do this.
We know this. Yes.
Okay,
You brought it back. I like it. I like it. Okay.
Like you get into
Having
a stage
the first
like
half, not gonna lie.
where you know what you do start to daydream or like doom scroll as Nick likes to do.
He's doing it right now. Look,
Yeah,
he's
he's
fucking phone.
right under the pillow. Oh, that's not doom scrolling.
That's a 2-inch Punisher right
something
there. But yeah, like you.
No, I get what you're saying. Once you get like a big like person job,
Yeah,
and
you're like, oh, I'm not
have a
working at
mundane
Domino's. I'm not working at
fucking-
Domino's anymore. And like, you know what? Fuck this job.
Papa John's.
Once you start to build the business from the ground up, have a corporate job 9 to 5,
Yeah.
fucking, you start to realize that life isn't so fucking easy, and sometimes that dark cloud looms over you, and sometimes you need something like this to uplift you and make you feel good. And that's not such a bad fucking thing.
It's not a bad thing,
it's
but
not
it
relatable
just didn't stick to Mr. Watching a movie, And I think he's more criticizing like the elements of the film itself versus like the mood or whatnot. Because he even says like the biggest detriments of this film is how it makes the product placement of Michael Bay movies look subtle. Like he said, like they're always mentioning Life magazine, Papa John's, eHarmony.
Hey man, they gotta get the movie paid for somehow.
No,
okay?
You think
I
they
get
got this
it.
amazing fucking cinematography, soundtrack, all that
Was
just
cheap?
For free? Nah.
You think
But-
Ben Stiller got 3
Hey,
paychecks
Ben
because
Stiller
he
did what he had to do to make
what
this shit
he
happen, and he
says-
did it.
What he says is that the movie has some technical merits and cheerful moments, but they're few and far between in a movie that doesn't hit as hard emotionally as it wants to, but does provide some inoffensive competency for 2 hours. So he's basically saying, yeah, it's a movie, but it doesn't do much. That's this guy's point of view.
I don't know. I think he hasn't had a real job yet.
Well,
It's okay to be
I still
wrong.
respect him.
I
because
respect
he
it.
has an opinion.
Yeah.
that-
No,
And he actually has like good points here. Yeah.
I'm not saying he doesn't.
And then you're over here attacking his character. You don't even know this guy. Who knows? Maybe he's 60 years old. He's had all
Yeah.
these jobs.
You're just
You
bad
don't
as
need- you don't
you're
know
just
that.
as bad as he is for making assumptions.
You're just like
that,
Walter
Gator.
Mitty.
You don't know.
assuming.
This guy could be the main character in The Pursuit of Happiness. Think about it.
Will Smith
Hey,
getting
he's
cheated
the
on by
movie
Jada.
guy.
That's
All
Will
right,
Smith.
he watches a lot of movies. This guy
guy's
knows what he's
watching
talking
a
about.
movie.
Except
Nah.
with this movie, apparently.
He's
Yeah.
only seen 717. I've seen way more.
Yeah,
than
we've
that.
seen way more than
Alright.
that, yeah.
Anyways, thanks for watching the movie. Sorry about that.
If you get roasted, you get roasted.
Yeah, you got roasted hard. All right, I got some 3 stars here, and a 3.5 star.
Why wasn't this movie captivating with people? I don't
know. I mean, it has like a 3.7 on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
This is funny. This is another one. 3-star by Hannah. I was so fucking high. I don't know what happened. I think there was skateboarding ? People are really focusing on the skateboarding aspect of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hannah, you need to fucking lay off the
All right,
green. 'Cause
I think
don't know
the
what
green.
I
fuck-
think we're done with Letterboxd
It was-
reviews.
it was
let's
pretty
go
easy.
to our own reviews.
Okay.
All right, George, this is your first time watching the movie. What did you think?
Yeah, no. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it short, sweet, simple. I think
Sorry, too
I'm
long.
gonna give it a 4.5. I really enjoyed it.
Holy shit.
Oh wait, I thought it was Letterboxd review.
Well, if you're doing 4.5, then that's
like
a 9.
Yeah,
I'll give it a 9. Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry,
that's
I forget we do we do fucking 10 and then Letterboxd.
I know. I do the conversions.
We do math.
Yeah, no,
okay, George.
I'll give it a 9. I really enjoyed it. I think it had a great storyline. Just overall, the image that it's trying to portray. It was very heartfelt.
Oh.
It hit me pretty good. And the visuals, music, everything was fantastic. So I would really recommend this movie. Anyone who hasn't watched it.
Yeah.
I think it's something that's underrated because before watching it with you guys, I really hadn't heard anything about it online. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I loved it.
Alexis, this is your first time watching this movie as well?
Yeah, first time.
What do you think?
I'll give it like a 7.5. I think it's a solid movie. It did make me feel good. You know, I always love Ben Stiller's.
So you're right there with the Letterboxd reviews.
No, because that guy gave it like a 2.5 or something. Like I agree with some of his points, but I don't think it's like a bad movie.
Okay.
You know, and but I like Sean Penn, and yeah, I mean it's feel good. Nothing bad about it.
All right, Nick. What's your review? I know, is this your second time watching it?
It's roughly, but my first time I honestly didn't have enough attention going into it.
So you're busting at Hannah.
Exactly, but I'm actually giving it another shot before I give it a review.
Come
on, Hannah.
He was on
your shit together, Hannah.
Valid.
But anyway, funny enough, actually, I was gonna go 7.5 as well. I was thinking about giving it a 7, but I think 7.5 probably sits better with me. A big thing for me in that it's not a 9. Message is beautiful. Cinematography is great. The product placement, I'm starting to notice it more, but I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not the person who's going to get skewed by product placement. So when people are like, oh, my God, Coca-Cola 10 times, I'm like, oh, my God, you're a fucking adult. Don't buy Coke.
Blade Runner did it.
Who gives a
It was
shit?
fucking fantastic.
If anything, what that's saying is that the ads are working for people like you.
Exactly. Like, that means you're the fucking problem.
I literally did not give a shit. I didn't even realize it was Papa John's.
I know.
Until
I was
you
just like,
guys
oh, that's
brought
funny.
it up twice. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's right. His dad and then the Papa John's.
Yeah, I don't give a shit as long as they're not fucking, like, using a product like Nestle that's, like, killing people and shit like that.
Is
Why?
it?
Actually, I think they did that in
Nestle's terrible.
Talladega, didn't they? Didn't they get some Nestle on that?
I don't know, bro.
Whatever.
They did.
But you know what? They also had Sacha Baron Cohen, so
They
that's
did.
a different thing.
Okay.
But regardless, like I said, like I don't care about that. For me, it was more about like some stupid scenes that I thought just didn't make a lot of sense. Which, like for example, I the longboarding, fucking doing tricks at a skate park with a longboard, like what the fuck? You know, the tie, use it like how that's not gonna wear off before the rocks. Like
No, you think about it logically.
I think, and you know what? That's funny because you think about
No,
the
we
fact
tied
that
the
this
rock
is,
around the tie. That's why.
well,
Dumbass.
Come on,
Duh.
man. What the fuck?
yeah,
man?
the rock is
dude.
somehow gonna get worn before the tie that's
You don't
over.
know if he's using the sides. You don't know if he's using the
duh.
sides.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'd be
the
like-
side where his hand is.
Like this, you could be doing like that.
He's
man.
holding it like this, dude.
While going 20
All
miles per hour.
right.
But anyway, like I said, there's just a couple scenes that like just didn't like really like sit super well with me. It was a little bit a little corny at times, which I like. Don't get me wrong, but so that's why I still gave it a 7.5, which is a good score.
I
in my
saw the
opinion.
corniness, but I enjoyed
Yeah.
it. I was like,
Yeah.
it's a feel-good movie. What do you
Yeah.
expect?
I've just like personally for me, I've seen better movies that try to achieve the same feeling.
What?
Or,
Name a new
or
movie.
message.
Well, I feel like
Let's
I don't know. Do you? Well, here's a question for you, Alexis. Do you feel like when I watch a movie like this that's supposed to have a message, it's supposed to make me feel good, I also expect it to make me feel not good a little bit, or like hit me in the feels, and like even because like again, like I mentioned Pursuit of Happiness, and like that shit will fucking bring me to my core. Like oh my god, like watching Will Smith cry
But
with
Yeah,
Jaden
Pursuit of
Smith.
Happiness.
But you know,
It is insane.
I think why that movie hits hard is because it's based on true events.
It doesn't. I don't give a fuck if
No,
it's
no,
fiction
but-
or not, though. For me personally,
okay.
I'm saying it's just how it's acted and how like it doesn't have to be a true event because it is,
Yeah.
and it was a true event way before this father's story came out.
Yeah, it was true event because it's like how
It's-
Will was feeling when Jada was doing all that shit.
Exactly, the entanglements. It's based off the entanglements. But
The reason he
Hey,
cried so good is
Will.
because he's like,
This was during the Jada era.
bro, Will, if you'd like to come up on the podcast and slap George live, bro.
Man,
Also-
I'll pay for that.
also, he might be gay. Like,
Hey, you know what?
on
So
real
are
talk.
we. So,
I
what
like
about
it.
you, Isaac?
I give this movie an 8.
Fascinating.
That's
I
pretty good.
I give this
That's pretty
movie an
good for
8
Gator.
because I think when I first saw this movie like 3 or 4 years ago, I was going through a transition where I was just like work, and And showing us a picture of Norbit.
Come on, guys, that's way better.
Hey, that's a hilarious movie.
That's a feel good movie for you.
Oh, I feel good.
What have you gone through, bud? Why does that one hit home?
Hey, I watched that movie. That's when I hit my record.
Record for what?
That's an inside
Hey,
joke.
you're gonna have to join our
Patreon.
Patreon.
That's the video exclusive.
Yeah. No, so like it made me. No, I'm sorry for the burp, but it made me think about like my life at that time. So it holds kind of like a soft spot in my heart for it. So I'll always go. Like I always have a good time watching it.
Oh, Gator.
Oh,
You got such thick skin, bud.
I
How?
do.
Yeah.
Hey, man,
Does it hit you home?
And see, and
Thick
that's the
skin,
beauty
but
about
soft.
this.
Hey,
I
man.
love
Just
that.
because you guys see my hardness doesn't mean there's not softness under
Dips.
there.
Yeah.
You're a little flaccid sometimes.
Yeah, I am. But mostly hard. Mostly hard.
Stay hard.
All right, Alexis, what's our combined score?
Combined, 4 Guys, One Film gives it an 8.
Wow.
A solid.
Very good
8.
score.
All right.
When are we
Very
gonna
good.
watch a bad movie?
Oof.
When are we gonna review a bad
Every
one?
time Alexis picks.
That's not true. That's not true.
Those have been the one we've watched those movies and not posted those.
No, the only ones we didn't post was Step Brothers. I
We
think
didn't post that, brother.
we didn't post that one, and then
Two of the Japanese horror
No,
films
we
that we
also
watched.
did a really
well,
popular.
we didn't even do
No,
those.
we did a popular
watched
film
them.
that we were like it wasn't worth it. It was really bad.
Oh, Oppenheimer, no?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oppie.
it was too long to do.
It wasn't good. Yeah.
But if you guys want to join our Patreon and want to hear that shit, we have it. Just let us know. It's long.
It's very long.
All right, well, I guess that calls it for this week.
That's a wrap, boys. It was a feel good movie. Tune in next week. What are we doing?
No Country for Old Men.
No Country for Old Men. Oh shit, that's
gonna
gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Again,
And-
no bad ones, just
Yeah.
bangers.
Yeah, and again, follow us on Letterboxd, 4 Guys, One Film. We're on Twitter.
Or Twitter.
Email us, 4guysonefilm@gmail.com.
Did we get any emails? Like I don't feel like nobody's emailing.
I don't have access to that email.
I
so-
have the email.
Okay. If you want,
If anyone wants to be the first,
Yeah,
or
if you have any
10th
recommendations,
person to email us,
especially if you have
recommendations.
any movies that are obscure and weird, and you're just like, I need somebody to see that shit.
Mhm. Like,
Send that over. to
Honestly,
us.
it took me
Absolutely.
fucking a whole week to decide what movie to watch today, and I didn't even decide to the last 5. I mean,
George,
George,
does not
that's 'cause
have
you're
the
fucking
brain cells to make
indecisive,
no,
decisions.
no, no. I gave you guys like fucking 20 choices.
George, but
and-
that's not the
we were
fucking.
set. We were originally gonna see Memories of Murder.
Mhm. We're still gonna watch that one eventually.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
then
get to
and
it.
then you were like, oh, maybe Boogie Nights or something, and then
No,
No,
you
that
said
was
Boogie
you
Nights.
watching
no, no,
Boogie
no, no,
Nights.
you brought it up, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a great
no,
one.
I've never even seen or heard of Boogie Nights.
Fantastic movie.
You
Right.
said Boogie Nights, and I was like, all right. I mean, I've never seen it.
No.
Well, you brought it up, so
Nonetheless,
nonetheless,
George is a very indecisive person
yeah.
Wait, George, you wanted to watch a movie that has boobies in it?
No,
and a flaccid large
No
penis.
way,
no.
no way.
I'm like, no, that one's
Before Midnight was already that was
that
too
one's
much.
one. What was the other one? Infernal Affairs. That one's pretty
Infernal
good too.
Affair.
That's
Yeah.
also
Alright.
one that I
That's
wanted to
also good.
choose.
But yeah, these
So
are all.
we'll get to those. We'll get to those.
These are all some that we hopefully will get to.
Yeah.
So yeah, just keep listening, subscribe to us, and
And Nick will be hosting the next one. I think it'll be his
Yes.
first one that he hosts, right?
I've hosted before. What
Yeah,
the
he's
fuck?
hosted. He's
And give us
hosted.
feedback. What do you guys like? What do you guys
Yeah.
not like?
they're like, yeah,
You know,
we
we-
hate Isaac's trash ass reviews on.
I hate you guys too. Okay.
attacking character.
Hey,
and all-
The character development.
Gator just likes to stir the fucking pot. So
No,
don't
it's just
take
my
it
honest
personally.
opinion, dude.
yeah.
Hey, bro, he
Honest.
stormed this, on January 6th.
I do.
Shit,
I'm
no,
like,
the FBI will
If
find
you
him.
want to see how bad he likes doing that shit, watch the fucking Scott Pilgrim episode.
Oh god, episode 3.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I fucking hate that
That was a
movie.
banger too.
That one's a good.
Wait,
one.
what was the other one that he hated? Into the Spider-Verse?
Oh yeah, he
Cross
was talking
the
trash.
He was
Oh,
talking
fuck Miles
so
Morales,
much
dude.
shit. Jesus
You
Christ.
just don't like him
Oh,
because
no,
he's Boricua.
But his favorite fucking film,
Puerto
Talladega
Rican.
Nights, apparently is
It's
a
not one.
masterpiece.
You tell me.
I
you
know,
did not
right?
have- you
He's
tell.
like, I fucking love this movie. 7.
You tell.
I fucking love
You gotta make up your mind, Gator. You gotta.
That's how I feel.
Say it with
okay?
your chest.
ain't first,
That's how
you're
I
last.
feel. Okay. God damn it. I'm sorry. I'm a man of opinion.
Well, this has been 4 guys.
Whoa! Get the fuck out
Oh,
of
wait,
here.
well, I was trying to exclude
Wait,
Gator, but I
wait,
can't count.
This is the
Yeah,
last
three
time.
guys.
This is the
Just
last
you two?
time.
All right,
Just
just
you
you
two?
two. All right. It's been really cool that we've been able to do this starting the year off. I didn't think we'd actually do it. I mean, it was an idea, and then now here we are.
I just started buying shit.
I know, you just started buying shit, and then it's like, all right, let's do it. You know, I had no idea how to really edit audio or set up any of this, and you know,
like I had to look into like a bunch of YouTube videos on like how to get crisp audio just out of this shit. Like it was, for me,
we fucking did it. That's all I wanna hear.
Dude, like this shit for me is like super fun. Like being able to talk with you guys and just like get my nerdness out and like
And you know, it's also fucking engaging with people we don't even know on the internet and just talking to them and then getting them to talk back to us is fucking just been a great experience.
Yeah. And it's, you know, we're small, right? But we've had reach. Like we've had people from Australia like listen to us, people in China, Brazil,
Denmark,
Italy,
boy
Denmark.
Hans.
You know, and you know, maybe it's just one person from that country, but that's one person
that's all it takes.
That
is one
listens
person,
to us.
You know,
It's
one of the things that there's one older dude that I learned from. He's like, hey man, it's a snowball effect. You start with 10, 20, it becomes 800.
Yeah, absolutely.
It becomes a million, and you know, it reigns true, man. As long as we, you know, I think we just keep doing it consistently. The hope is, you know, for this to be fun for us and to just have a bigger audience, and you know, not particularly doing this for the money, because you know, I think we're all decently successful. Like this is just like a fun thing for us to do on during the weekday, and I think it gets a little, at least for me, it gets some of my nerdness out when I look at trinkets that I want to buy.
It's an outlet. It's definitely an outlet.
It's an outlet for me for sure too, because I just love film and I love talking about it, and I love showing you guys the things that I'm interested in. Whether it lands or not, I'm just glad that you guys are willing to put in the time to even just watch something that I recommend.
And I think one of the things that I think we've always enjoyed, even before even starting the shows, the show, right? At this point, is just talking about it. Like, we've always watched movies, and we always had like in-depth conversations for like hours.
We've been doing it for free.
I know, honestly, we've been doing this almost like all our like youth.
Yeah,
we would hang out every Sunday, watch movies, fucking talk.
Yeah. All that time,
I don't know who the fuck knows where Nick was, but you know, it was great.
Hey, Nick was always there. Dude, he was too busy out there, you know,
slicking clock and shit.
Slicking clock,
baby.
Yeah, but it's been a great year doing this, and I know we'll just keep going, you know, keep going at it, and hopefully improving. And it's too busy out there, you know,
slicking clock and shit.
Slicking clock,
baby.
Yeah, but it's been a great year doing this, and I know we'll just keep going, you know, keep going at it, and hopefully improving and getting some like even better discussion out there.
And hopefully, you know, we get to the point where we try to produce some video for you guys.
We also want to keep it more consistent, because we've been doing this every Tuesday now for like a good month too. So that we love that. Honestly, this is something that I look forward to every week. I think it's great that we get to share, you know, our thoughts, views on different movies, and find other people that have very similar interests. Maybe people that have the complete opposite, and we discuss and like talk, and it's great. Something that definitely every Tuesday I'm like, fuck yeah, it's
eventually
it's time.
It's four guys.
Eventually, we want to get to the point where we can just have like big big meetings with you guys, like over online, like on Twitch and stuff, and we can hear you guys' interactions and stuff. You know, maybe do like live parties of movies.
Live Q&As, watch parties, fucking live reacts.
You know,
love it. Great.
Gonna go on Twitch, man.
Yeah, man.
Bro.
Why not,
dude?
You could see how big my dumpy is in real life.
Oh, dude.
I'm be like, turn around, baby. Turn around.
Just join our Patreon and OnlyFans. It's gonna get even better.
Dude, that shit's juicier than a Porto's cake.
Oh, tres leches.
If you're in the West Coast, you fucking know.
It's a lot of leches.
Yeah. And for people out there who don't know, Porto's, phenomenal.
Figure it out.
That's
Cuban
a rec
bakery.
for you guys.
Yeah. That's a rec
that one's for free.
If you're out here in SoCal.
That's a shameless plug right there. Sponsors,
Hey,
Porto's.
I'll sponsor you, Porto's, bro.
Yeah. we got to get some real sponsors on this. That's the goal for next year. Let's get one sponsor.
Hell yeah, baby.
Oh yeah. Besides me.
Besides you. Besides our producer over here.
We're just gonna put it under your parent company.
Yeah.
It's Gator's mom. She's like, I support you guys. We're like, fuck, no.
Dude, my mom would, dude. She's a hard ass.
No, I know. She'd be like, whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's been fun doing this, and I hope you guys keep listening. And again, like Isaac said, that snowball effect. Just tell your friends, tell anybody about us, and just keep the viewership going.
Yeah. Because we don't want money from you guys or anything like that. Just
no.
I mean,
we
already
find
set up
other similar people that love movies.
We just want to talk about film and enjoy it together.
Eventually, maybe TV if you guys want it. 'Cause we watch a lot of TV.
We do watch a lot of TV.
I don't watch that much TV, but I can watch TV.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know
you
you
guys.
fucking can't, because you can't even finish a series of anime, man. Don't even get me started on that.
Hey, that's not money getter.
Yeah, let's wrap this
That's
up,
not money
guys.
getter.
He hasn't
wrap
even
this up.
finished Demon Slayer. Am I correct, Nick?
That is true.
Let's wrap this up.
Fucking shit.
Whoever's been with us listening, have a great New Year.
Happy
And-
holidays.
New year, new
And
you.
2024,
Stay money, baby.
We're gonna try to be more consistent, and hopefully
Yeah.
we grow this community with you guys.
2024, guys.
One
film.